And it's crazy. It's been spirit breaking. I feel like I'm a short man with a 2-inch schlong. And I mean 2 inches hard, not 2 inches soft. There's nowhere to go from 2 inches hard. That's how I've been feeling. And I feel like that schlong is tucked behind me. Yes, this is some of the stuff I have been going through. And I'm trying to really be vocal about it because I know, especially big tech, has really been laying off a lot of people in the last couple of months. I have seen some great writers. I was following this sister that has written for all these shows, and she was like, if she don't find a job soon, she gonna have to go back home. Going back home is not an option, okay? I have a toxic, unsupportive mom. Yeah, I'm gonna put that out there, okay? Some of us do. I have a very supportive father, but he still needs his space. He's got his little bachelor pad, and I'm used to being independent. I'm just used to being independent, and I want my independence back. But some of you recruiters are gonna make it not only that I don't get my independence back right away, but that I may not even make it into heaven, because I'm telling you, sometimes when I'm dealing with y'all, emailing y'all, sometimes I get a text that there's an interview at Pookie Pookie's Pizza Hut, and I'm just throwing out things. And you guys have given me no information. I don't even know if you're a scammer or a real recruiter. So it's so interesting that when recruiters are out here talking to people, they're talking about professionalism. They're trying to figure out if you're a good fit. Baby, are some of y'all a good fit for your job? Because especially when you're recruiting contractors, I'm like the hoe on the beat. The pimp don't get paid. You would be the pimp, okay, the HR recruiters. Y'all don't get paid unless I'm out here greasing my ankles and getting the job done. Y'all don't get paid. So what is exactly happening out there? Now, I'll get the people who they want the specific terminology of the exact job in the resume. And I understand that some resumes go through some sort of mechanical or computer system, but even when they're handing it to somebody else, I find recruiters gatekeeping. They'd be like, KJM, but can you read and write? And I'm like, mother, do you not see this resume? I've been reading and writing since I came out the womb, okay? The womb. And I just don't understand it. Also, if you're a recruiter that you're literally posting a job, interviewing people, and then you have to keep reposting that job, why don't you be real with candidates and say, we don't have our budget together. This client is all over the place. We don't have our budget together. And we're not about to pick nobody in 2023. So stay tuned for 2025, because that's probably when this position will be filled. Okay. Now, I've had some recruiters tell me that I've made it to the final round of an interview. They blow smoke up my, and then literally a day or two, I get that rejection email. You didn't make it to the next, sorry, KJM, you didn't make it to the next round. Why are y'all not being real with people? Now, if you're a recruiter and this is not you, then that's fine. But understand that there are real people behind there. So your checks may be rolling in, but there are real people behind what you're doing. And let me tell you something. In January, I had a very, very, very dark moment, and I had a very dark day where I was going to run errands, and I am not an unalive person. I do not want to unalive myself, but I'm very much a rational thinker. And I said to myself, with all the stress and pressure I've been putting on my dad, my brother, and then with me having to reach out to friends for help, I was like, I could see why people would really end it. I could see why people may just like run their car up in something. And I'm not saying I wanted to do that. I want to make it very clear that I'm very sane and I'm not trying to unalive myself. But when that dark moment hit, I definitely text one of my homegirls. I am friends with both her and her husband. And I let her know that I'm not about to sell cat, and I'm not about to sell drugs, and I'm not headed back to my mother's house, and I do need help. And they sent that help right away. So God bless them. Also, shout out to my bestie and his wife. God bless y'all. I couldn't do anything without my daddy. Like, Papa M, I love you from here to eternity. We've been going through a low, but I promise you when I get back up, like, we're never going to go through this again. I'm going to make sure I have multiple streams of income. And part of it that has distracted me is I haven't had a lot of faith in my personal brand. And I was very much taught, like, you go to school, you work hard. My childhood was not normal. I spent most of my childhood raising children that were not mine. So both my bio and adopted sibs, and I do not regret that. I love my cubs. I do not regret that. Okay, now raising my mama was a whole nother thing, but we ain't gonna talk about that. So I've been through a lot, but from 18 and up, I focused on my education, along with guiding my cubs in their education, their careers. So whether you have a trade or you have a formal education from some sort of college or university, I want to let you know, if you're out here putting out resumes, pitching yourself, interviewing, doing the very best you can, and you're not getting a lot back, it's not you. These recruiters are the devil reincarnated. Now, I know it's not all of them. So if you feel it in your feelings and you work in HR and you're a recruiter, that means that you are it. Now, a lot of these companies sell diversity and inclusion, and they're really not trying to diversify and include nobody. What that mainly means is, let us get a white woman to fill the position because she'll be a woman and that'll fill the diversity of inclusion. They're not really trying to see black and brown faces up in the place to be. Now, what made me want to be vocal about this is, if I am such an educated, hardworking black woman in America and I'm going through this, then it means others are going through it too. So I want to let you know, there's no more education for me. I'm unless it's just learning the streets, there's no more education that I personally need to get. I have a lot of transferable skills, and I've spent some time recently pitching myself. But let me just tell you, I've only had 2 recruiters humanize me, meaning one that actually, and I do believe they are people of color. One that actually, told me I made it to the second round for a job, and I actually did make it to the second round. That job ended up being reposted. And I feel some type of way about that, but we'll let that go. But when I didn't get it, I cried because it was the first time I really wanted something in a long time. Even though I'd like to quit corporate America, I'd literally like to quit it. And I wanted to stay at home too, because let me just tell you, I've enjoyed for the last 3 years not dealing with the racism. So I am often in spaces where I'm one of 2 or one of 3. Sometimes I'm lucky I'm in a space where it is a bit more diverse. But for what I do in the field I'm in, I'm not going to see a lot of me anywhere. That's just the thing. And like I said, I don't like to talk about my day job, and I don't even want to go into the details of that. This isn't to pitch to get a job. This is if you're similarly situated. So if you're feeling like you don't have enough degrees and you wish you had had enough degrees and maybe you'd get a better job, I'm not saying you shouldn't go back to school, but go back to school because you want to. Because I'm going to tell you right now, even when you have like a PhD or something like that, these recruiters will still try to play you and tell you that you need to do more. You need to do more than what you're doing, and you're only worth like $10 an hour. When you know that PhD means so much, you've worked your ass off for it, right? Another thing I can't stand about these recruiters is like, they'll literally say to you, besides getting the can you read and write, even though they see all the degrees or whatever, they will literally say to you, I'll see jobs posted and I'll say, who does this fit? They'll say you need 15 years of experience plus this degree, whatever, plus certifications. And I'm like, who fits this description? And then when I go and look at the mother salary, it's like, baby, we only about to pay you $18 an hour. I would hope if I had 15 years of experience in something, even if it was a trade, that I'd be making more than $18 an hour. And remember, this rant really started because I need to keep my lights on. What it costs to keep your lights on and my lights on are 2 different things, okay? And I know some people say live within your means. Well, baby, I used to work 12 plus hours, 6 to 7 days a week for almost 13 years because I know what kind of means I like and what kind of means I want to live in, and I would hustle. But as I'm getting older, I'm getting tired of that. Y'all see why I needed my Target joggers to really go and get deep with y'all? It's been a struggle. So if you're out there struggling, if you're having some dark moments, baby, I'm right there with you. And I am really trying to get closer to God, because the only thing I think that is going to work is for me to stay prayed up. If you're a recruiter that you're out here not following up, you're making promises that's not true, you're breaking spirits, you're only thinking about your own pocket, when you're literally recruiting most of us into toxic workspaces, okay? Because even virtually, you'll feel the heat. But I prefer virtual. I would rather be uncomfortable in my own home than be uncomfortable in a direct corporate America setting. And I feel like I've paid my dues, okay? I've been on the subway. I used to leave my house at 6:15 in the morning, and I don't return to at least 9 o'clock at night. Between bussing it and training it and working my tail off, I'm at that place in life that I'm just getting tired of doing that shit. And like I said, an OnlyFans is not an option, okay? I had a colleague last week